Hey guys, tonight we wander back into a world wrapped in lace, lavender water, and the soft hiss of a gas lamp. The year's somewhere around 1887, and you, yes, you, are standing in a small, overly decorated parlor that smells faintly of starch, rose soap, and effort. The curtains hang heavy, filtering out most of the afternoon sun, but not the heat. You can almost feel it pressing on your corseted ribs or your stiff high collar, depending on your role in this little drama. You probably won't survive this day without at least 3 cups of tea and a minor emotional collapse. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, tell me your location and the time right now in the comments. I love seeing where in the world you're listening from. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You trudge through this Victorian home, the air thick with polish and purpose. There's no sound louder than the ticking clock on the mantelpiece. It's a reminder that every hour is already spoken for. Dusting, mending, baking, supervising the maid, if you're lucky enough to have one, polishing silver, trimming lamp wicks, or coaxing a reluctant fire to life. The house feels alive, but not in a friendly way. It's breathing down your neck, whispering in lace-trimmed tones that you're never quite done. The average middle-class Victorian housewife spends up to 12 hours each day managing domestic duties, often in suffocating clothing designed by people who clearly hated oxygen. Historians still argue whether this relentless workload was an emblem of pride or quiet oppression. But you, standing here with aching feet and a bonnet that itches, don't need historians, you need a chair. And that's when it happens. The moment that would one day earn a spot in every lazy afternoon across the globe. You sit. Not for long, just for a breath. The sunlight hums through the lace curtains like gold dust, and the rhythmic clack of the clock starts to sound like a lullaby. You didn't plan to close your eyes, but somehow your body does it for you. Congratulations, you've just invented the prototype of the modern nap. Accidentally, rebelliously, beautifully. At this point, it's not yet called a nap. It's just taking a moment. Victorian etiquette books don't mention it. God forbid a woman admits to needing rest. But in whispered corners, women begin sharing secrets that a few stolen minutes with eyes closed can feel like salvation. In a society obsessed with appearances, that small rebellion hides behind lace curtains and floral upholstery. One mainstream fact tucked under those ruffles: by the late 19th century, Britain's rising middle class prided itself on the spotless home as a reflection of moral purity. Clean baseboards equaled a clean conscience. A woman's worth was scrubbed into her silverware. And while her husband might escape to the club or the office, she stayed surrounded by the endless to-do list of domestic virtue. Here's your quirky tidbit. Some women secretly timed their rest with the creak of the postman's bicycle. His delivery meant her husband wouldn't be home for hours. That's when she'd slip off her shoes, loosen her stays, and sink into the fainting couch, not because she fainted, but because the name gave her cover. Outside, the world hums with horse hooves and factory whistles, but in this parlor, time slows. You imagine yourself on that couch, eyes half closed, the scent of lavender sachets floating around you. The first nap is not an indulgence. It's an act of survival disguised as composure. And you start to sense the strange alchemy of it all. When your body refuses to match society's tempo, it creates its own rhythm. A soft rebellion blooms under those curtains. You don't know it yet, but this small sigh of rest will ripple through time straight into your own Sunday afternoon centuries later. A tea kettle whistles from the kitchen, and you open your eyes before anyone suspects you of being idle, because in this world, doing nothing is dangerous. But your pulse is slower now, your breath quieter. You've claimed 5 minutes for yourself, and that's enough to keep going. Somewhere in that pause, the afternoon nap was born not out of laziness, but from the need to survive the expectations of an empire built on appearances. And as you smooth your skirts or straighten your waistcoat, pretending you were just resting your eyes, you carry with you a secret softness that refuses to die.